Tweet, 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 tweet.
Welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Rabbit Hole Podcast. I am your host, CSD Fantasy. Hello, Fantasy Faithfuls, and welcome to the Fantasy Rabbit Hole Podcast. We have another great episode for you here today. My name is CSD Fantasy, and I'm flanked by the one and only Nick Faber, and for the first time, Matt Williams. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here. We got the DFS episode, and I'm ecstatic to have Matt with us. That's extremely exciting. I think he's over down this way, but good to have you on, Matt.
Yeah, I don't know which way I am right now. I need to back up, Courtney. I'm looking at the YouTube thing now. I need to back up. Yeah, great to be here. I'm the reason we're late, everybody. I'm sorry. You know, I had some technical difficulties, Windows, Skype, all that, but happy to be here. Let's get started.
Yeah, no, it happens. We're all good. We're all good. I see we haven't got anybody in the chat. Oh, I did something to the stream, but it'll be fine. We haven't had anybody, but today we have an awesome episode. But as always, feel free to interrupt at any point in the show in the live chat. We are always here to serve. Before we get into today's show, I would like to remind you to hit that like button. Please share it on social media to help us get the word out there. Subscribe if you haven't done so, and check out the Patreon page down below for exclusive content and personal fantasy projections. And one more thing this week, since it's a little different with Matt here. Matt, where can people find more about you?
I'm everywhere. You can find me on Twitter at Matt Williams, MATTWI77IMS, because believe it or not, Matt Williams is not a very common name. So, I mean, there's a couple of us out there. You can find me over at FF Mercs along with Nick here, my boy Nick. We do fantasy football consulting, Turn 2 podcast for anyone who loves baseball, but we're here to talk about football, and Clipcast, sure, right here. It's right like there. Google for podcasts. Check it out on my Twitter profile. All the information's there.
Fantastic. Nick, do a little plug for you as well while we're at it.
Oh, man. You follow me on Twitter at Nick Faber, NFL. I'm always hot tweeting. Got them fire tweets going out, so you can always expect some funny-ass shit happening. You can find me all over via podcast. This one, the podcast, the Daily Blitz pod with Matt, and then we are on the FF Mercs, and we just shows everywhere. I don't know. Follow me on Twitter, and that's where you'll find me. I'm everywhere.
Fantastic. So, without further ado, let's get into the news. So the news, we have a couple of news items with I would say a little bit of fantasy impact, at least here as we move closer to the off season and less fantasy content. But Ron Rivera is taking over the Washington Redskins. Nick, how do you feel about Redskins for fantasy with Ron Rivera as their head coach?
I mean, to be all honest, I guess I would have rather had Jay Gruden for fantasy impact when it comes to Washington. I'm not too excited about the Ron Rivera signing for fantasy-wise. I'm actually not the biggest fan of the signing for Washington, unfortunately. But when it comes to fantasy, they do have this interesting team on the up and up. Right? Who is Dwayne Haskins? Who is this guy? Is this a quarterback that's gonna be worthwhile when it comes to fantasy? I mean, is he gonna be a game manager and be able to win games? Is that what Ron Rivera is gonna want him to do? I don't know what this chemistry is gonna be, and I don't know if Ron Rivera is ecstatic with Dwayne Haskins. But we saw Cam Newton be a monster in Carolina with Ron Rivera, and I'm not trying to compare Dwayne Haskins to Cam Newton, but I just feel that Ron Rivera has proven he can get eliteness out of his quarterbacks, and maybe he can do that with Dwayne Haskins. If that's the case, I'm in love with Kelvin Harmon moving forward. I'm in love with Terry McLaurin. But I don't want anything to do with the Mr. Glass, Darius Geis, and I don't care about anything else that's happening in the backfield there until April. And once late April happens and they go out and get themselves a dope-ass running back who's going to actually stay healthy, then we can start talking. As for now, I'm not too ecstatic about it, but I'm very curious to see the dynamic between Rivera and Haskins moving forward.
Matt, do you feel like they would be more ready to produce fantasy points if they stepped away from Haskins with Ron Rivera. We've seen what he did a little bit this year with totally blanking on Kyle Allen's name, but somebody who's just serviceable, like for instance an Alex Smith coming back or Case Keenum. How do you feel about them if Ron Rivera starts him in his offense?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say because they're kind of cleaning house. So you would think because they invested so much in Haskins, he looked okay at times at the right before he got injured. He was actually having a pretty good game. So I would think that they would want to continue going down that road. So, I'd like to see the plan before doing anything. I would like to see him stick with Haskins. He showed me a little bit of something. I think just moving away from him now would be like, he didn't even get the opportunity that Josh Rosen did. So before they completely moved on from him. So it's not unprecedented. You can completely move on from an early pick. We've seen it just last year. But on the other side, Nick said he's no interest in Darius Geis. I still is very much interested in Darius Geis, especially with how cheap you could probably get him at this point. You saw what happened with Dalvin Cook. Struggled through so many injuries. People can bounce back. Doesn't mean he's going to. He's probably not going to, unfortunately. He looks amazing when he's healthy. But if someone's given up on him, he's definitely someone that I'm going to try to acquire because he's still by far the most interesting guy on that team, even with McLaurin.
He's the perfect, get him right now and wait for him to have 2 good games to start the season next year right before he gets injured and sell him right in those first games.
Well, it's kind of like John Ross. I love John Ross. I got him everywhere now because I think Joe Burrow's coming to town. But as soon as his value hits peak, when everyone's like, "Oh, he's gonna have a monster year," I'll flip him everywhere. So I'm excited to have him cheap and excited to flip him high.
Yeah, exactly.
I was super excited about John Ross as well, but he just keeps burning you. And it's the same with guys. Guys care. Like he got me a lot of money in DFS this year, 1 week, but just over a course of an entire season, I don't feel like you can trust him just yet. So what rounds do y'all feel comfortable drafting him? I wouldn't touch him before in a 12-team league. I wouldn't draft him before the 12th.
I agree. I think what Matt's doing is perfect. Get him now and don't even have him on your team when the season starts. Get him now and then wait for Joe Burrow to come to town and everyone be in love and flip him. But if you do have, if you are sitting there in a draft, I next year, I'm not in love with them. It'll all depend on what happens with AJ Green. It will definitely kind of decide, is Tyler Boyd a free agent this year or is it next year?
Next year.
Okay. I was going to say, because I thought he was this year and he would be leaving as well. Then all of a sudden John Ross stocks go up because those two could be gone. But if Tyler Boyd's still going to be there, if AJ Green for some reason comes back to town, I definitely don't like John Ross at all. And even without AJ Green, John Ross isn't the most exciting anymore. He just drops too many balls, man.
Who do you draft first, Matt? Ross or Geis in a 12-team league?
Geis. If this year proved anything, getting running back depth on your team is so important. There's no one left on the waiver wire. There's lots of wide receivers you can grab at all times. Geis, you said you wouldn't want to touch Ross before the 12th. I'm still drafting Geis around maybe the 9th.
Okay.
Yeah,
around then.
Because you're right. This next upcoming year, give me 2 wide receivers, 3 wide receivers, and give me 9 running backs. Try it. And it seemed a little bit more sparing this year than in years past. You'd always kind of get that running back late. You might be able to jump on. This year, there was not those running backs that you could jump on late and ride for a championship, aka Damian Williams last year. There's always a player like that.
And there's so few bell cows now. You have to change the meaning of the word bell cow. Just ones that you can reliably get a everyday production out of, because you'll have people that are in constant timeshares, and then the timeshares dramatically change. Like Jalen Richard, I was excited about him this year. He literally didn't exist. Didn't exist. Neither did Giovanni Bernard. So guys like that, where you thought they'd at least give you something in PPR, you literally drafted a 0. So it's odd.
Yeah,
definitely, and it gets more and more complicated as we move forward with the running back position, in my opinion. Somebody else who's a complicated person is Jay Gruden, who's looking for new work. Where would be a good fit now that, I was just seeing and thinking this today, and I didn't want to touch on this topic too long, but Browns, would they be interested in drafting Jay Gruden, and would that increase OBJ and and Jarvis Landry Stocks and those guys on the Browns defense. How do you feel about that, Matt? If Jay Gruden were to go to the Browns?
Are we talking offensive coordinator?
No, I'm talking head coach. Just
I
smack
don't
dab.
think
Just
I'm not positive anyone's given him that shot, to be honest. But as we saw, the Baylor coach just turned them down flat for even an interview. So the Browns, maybe it's a beggars can't be choosers situation.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be a great spot for him if it happened. I'd be super excited. I mean, it's a weird group because any experienced coach is going to be shying away from that job because you got Baker's whole nightmare situation. OBJ is going to be mouthing off. They're all going to be psyched that Kitchens is gone and fresh start probably. But it's a tough group to bring anyone. So yeah, bring in Gruden. And just kind of let it fly. So
Yeah.
it's good at anything. I'd love to, yeah, if anything, let him take over as head coach, get a serious defensive coordinator in there. And yeah, I think it's as good a shot as any.
Yeah, because what I'm thinking is a little bit of desperation on both ends. That
Yes.
he's not, the belle of the ball on the head coaching market, and they're not really a destination that the top coaches who are looking for a head coaching job want to go there. So it's like, oh, you have a little desperate coach, you have a desperate team. Here you go. Keep being the Browns.
That's actually pretty smart. Like the two unwanted should match right together. But that would
That'd be nice.
they need to go get Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell. The Browns do.
They don't need to get Mike McCarthy.
They don't need to get Mike McCarthy.
And for love of God, Carolina Panthers do not know Mike McCarthy. I don't need Christian McCaffrey in a timeshare. Stop it.
But they see that Super Bowl ring and they just drool over it. They're like, yes, give me Super Bowl. And Mike McCarthy's like, I got one for you.
You know what? I mean, anything would be an upgrade for the Browns, though, because Kitchens, he's fine. I mean, he probably would have been, his career would have probably been fine if he stayed an offensive coordinator.
His career would have been better, but I don't think this is the last we'll hear of Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah. Well, it was evident he couldn't be a head coach in like the preseason, the way he handled the media. It was evident. Like, yeah, way over. That job was not for him. So hopefully he'll bounce back. But they just need someone stable, just stable. They could be so better if they just had a coach just stable.
That's what I'm saying. Get Jim Caldwell. He's the perfect one. He had 3 winning seasons with the Lions. Like, he had better, Jay Gruden had 2 winning seasons with Washington in 6 years, but one of them was an 8-win season. It wasn't even technically a winning season. They just had tied one of their games. That's a loss in my opinion. That's 8-8. He had one
Question:
winning season.
If Gruden never got fired, this is a ton of ifs coming your way.
Perfect.
Gruden never got
That's
fired.
what we want.
Alex Smith's legs never got snapped. Darius Geis was healthy the whole year. Trent Williams came to play. Where could the Redskins have been in that division this year?
Top of the board.
No,
Right?
no.
They would have won the division, maybe going away, right?
They would have been Dallas 2.0. Be like sniffing Eagles. But you look at.
I be better than the Eagles?
I have a Cowboys shirt on and a Cowboys hat on, and I still think that the Eagles, fair and square, were the better team at the end in that division. And I don't think, even with all the talent that you just mentioned, if they actually played, or,
right? It's not. Yeah, I mean, you're adding Case Keenum. Like, that's not a lot of talent, unfortunately. Like,
we added healthy Alex Smith.
Trent Williams. Oh, that's right. That's what you say, Alex Smith. Okay, I'm sorry. You're right. I was thinking Case Keenum. I was like, that's not too much of it.
I still think they could have been 8-8 with that. I don't think they would have been better.
I don't know. I think
the
they're a
Eagles.
really good team. I think they have a good team. They've been drafting a good team, and I'll be shocked. What if they don't draft Chase Young? What if they don't draft Chase Young and put Chase Young and Montez Sweat on opposite sides, and in fact try to help their offense? Go get Andrew Thomas or Jerry Jeudy. I don't know. Just let Chase Young slip to 3. I don't know. Just question.
There's actually quite a few boards that saw him go that have them going O-line, so it could happen.
Thomas pick, baby.
It is like weak at offensive line in this draft, and that's going to make people think you can't really get one later.
Trent. They're losing Trent. Like, come on.
Like, look at. I mean, I'm clearly biased as a Cowboys fan, but I think Dak Prescott really got helped by having a monster offensive line in front of him. I don't think he would have had the career that he's had without, especially like somebody like Travis Frederick, who just reads defenses for him, and Tyron Smith, who can literally take two people at the same time and be like, haha, sit down. Like,
See, I don't want that to be like a lazy take because it almost sounds like it is, but I agree 100%. I think they're what did they start their rookie year with Zeke and Dak? They went 13-1 or something like that together. Whatever it was, it was on the back of their offensive line.
Yeah.
It was not that Zeke was this unbelievable. They should not have paid Zeke the money they did. They don't need to pay Dak the money that everyone else thinks that they need to, obviously now this year. But going into the season, and when everyone was saying, pay the man his money, pay the man his money, like I was saying, I said it then and I'll say the same thing. Dak's not going to go win you a Super Bowl. It's not going to happen. So it's but rather than just trying to be loyal and keep your quarterback, go get rid of him. Draft someone who's gonna get you a Super Bowl ring.
No,
Zeke also did not need to be paid that much because unfortunately running backs don't need to be paid that much.
I do agree with that, but it's what the Falcons general manager, what's his name? He used to cut the grass somewhere.
Blank?
Who?
Is it Arthur Blank?
No, that's the owner. I can't remember his name now. But he said before you find your quarterback, it will consume you as a general manager. You don't want, like, if you have Dak, you're above the average quarterback in the league. You can't go to somebody like Marcus Mariota, like draft a second overall pick, and it's Mariota, and all of a sudden Tannehill is better. Tannehill is much better. So if you have Dak, you can't be like, oh, we're not gonna pay him because we'll find somebody better at pick 18. No, it's not gonna happen.
It's just not that easy anymore. Like, you have to pay these quarterbacks so much money on their second go around that it's not worth it. It's not worth it, in my opinion. You can consume yourself trying to get that quarterback for sure, but don't let the stereotypical NFL like bring it like. If Marcus Mariota didn't work in the first 2 years and you still have him for 2 more years on this rookie contract or 3 years, don't feel the obligation to make him your starter for the next 5 years, like Tennessee was trying to do with Marcus Mariota. And like, that's great, Tannehill, but like, don't be afraid to go draft one. If the Lions went and drafted Tua Tagovailoa or whatever, 3rd overall this year, I'm not going to be pissed about that. Sure, there's a lot of holes to fill, but if like, let's flip Matt Stafford, let's get that money back and let's get Tua. Like, you can't just be relaxed with your quarterback either. You can't just sit on it and be like, all right, well, he's been good so far. Let's just keep riding with him. Maybe after 17 years, like Elway, he'll get 2 Super Bowl rings. Maybe. Like, that's like, maybe you can do that with like Matt Ryan. There's certain quarterbacks you can do that with, but Dak's not one of them. I'm sorry. I don't think Dak's a good quarterback. I'm sorry. Rabbit hole. We just flew down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, but this is a perfect segment to something that I've hidden deep down in the rundown for this show. Because it's a bet that you and I placed, Nick, from an earlier episode back in week 7 or something, 7 or 8. So it's Mahomes versus Dak rest of season after week 9. So it's week 10 to 16. Dak wins overall, even if we remove week 12, which Mahomes had a bye week. You want to know the score?
Yeah.
Dak scored 124.7. Mahomes scored 124.5. He scored 0.2 points more than Mahomes over that time span.
And it's all because Dak Prescott played the Lions in that span, I'm pretty sure, and threw up 1,500 yards and 85 touchdowns because he had a minute and a half to look through his possessions. He even came out and said after the game, I had time to look through my possessions or my progression about 3 different times. He had like 6 to 8 seconds every pass play. I don't know if the Lions game was in that stretch, but if it was, that's the only reason you won. Damn Lions. They always find a way to bring me down.
I want to see if you're right on that. It is. They played the Detroit.
And I bet you any money that was his best fantasy week, that whole stretch.
It sure was. It sure was. 36
Lions
points.
fucking suck. Because Matt Patricia is not a good coach.
And Matt,
not even drinking today, guys. This is water right here. This is just me getting pissed off at the Lions. There's another first. This is Matt's first show, and this is my first show not drinking, and you can see how heated I get. I need some booze.
I was gonna say this is Matt's first show, and this is perfect fantasy rabbit hole content, or like showcasing the show.
Buddy. We just go down the hole.
You remember where we started this conversation? Anybody? Jay Gruden.
Jay Gruden, yeah.
Oh, Jay Gruden.
To the Browns, which was just
Hey,
something that I...
before we move off the Cowboys, just I want to get your view. Is your prediction, or do you think you sign Amari, tag Dak? Is that the direction it's probably going for you guys?
I am questionable with... It's not going to be a huge contract for Amari. I don't think they're willing to tag him. I think they will sign Dak.
Think they'll just sign Dak and not tag him?
And then try to get a discount on Amari Cooper, because I do think that they saw that it depends on how much they felt that he was injured at the end of the season. If they felt that the injury was so much that he got hampered, but otherwise I feel like he reverted back to the old Amari Cooper if the injury wasn't there, of like, I'm going to have a big game and destroy everybody, or I'm not going to show up today. And that was always my problem with Amari Cooper in the Oakland Raiders, that you couldn't trust him as a fantasy player, and that's something I talk a lot about on CSD Fantasy's platforms, especially on the website, about being able to trust players, and he cannot be trusted. Nobody has like the variation in scoring like he does, and that's sort of what the Cowboys got to witness here in 2019. So I think they're going to try to get him top 10 money, but if it goes top 5, I don't think they're going to pay him.
Okay.
But I do think they're going to sign Dak because why am I blanking on this? This is crazy. Jerry Jones is desperate at this point. You can see him when he's talking about it. He felt sad that they didn't do more with this team. This team was, I think, it's the most talented team that didn't make the playoffs.
Real quick, funny story. I go to the Senior Bowl a couple years ago, and I'm walking in, and so the bars in Alabama don't close, right? And so we're up all night, partying to the break of dawn, and we get up 2 hours later. We got to get to practice, the first Senior Bowl practice, and I'm running in. I'm like late. I'm not late, but I'm like getting there kind of late. And right as I'm walking in, all these people start bum rushing me, and there's just like 10, 15 people like all asking for autographs, and I'm like, what's happening right now? And I look to the right, and it's just Jerry Jones with this big cigar and his like bouncer dude, whatever, with a big ass cowboy hat standing right next to him, standing right next to me, and we're rubbing elbows. And I look at Jerry, and Jerry looks at me, and I'm just like, oh God, like I'm like hungover, I'm gonna throw up. I'm like, I need to get out of here. I just like stopped, turned around, and walked over the other way. It was like, I just don't need to be right here. This is not where I want to be. That's pretty funny.
You barf on Jerry Jones, you get killed. Literally,
you get killed.
They kill you.
I had to turn around. I couldn't let that happen. Anyways.
That is hilarious. Let's move on. But before we do that, let's hear from our sponsor real quick before we move on to the next segment. So, Prize Picks. Tired of losing on DFS salary cap sites? With our friends at Prize Picks, you can turn that fantasy sports knowledge into cold, hard cash. No sharks, no endless hours of research. It's just you against the projection. You just choose over or under correctly on a player's fantasy point projection to win. Use promo code CSD. New members who sign up and make their first deposit gets free 2-pick entries to win $25 and 25% first deposit instant match up to $4,000. Prize Pick really is daily fantasy simplified.
Did it go through the playoffs?
Excuse me?
Does Prize Picks keep it going through the playoffs?
Oh, definitely. And you can start with NBA, golf. They have pretty much any sport you can play fantasy on.
So let's give Prize Picks a little shout out here. I got them pulled up. So over under, both of you guys. Deshaun Watson, 20.5 projection score.
Oof, I gotta get my projection up.
Playing Buffalo.
Was it 20.5?
20.5, yep.
Over.
Over.
They're gonna want to. He's gonna want to wash that. What did they lose last year to the Colts? 21. I had it in front of me here a little ago. Or I don't. One of the two.
I have him for 18.8.
They lost him 21-7 last year in Indy.
To Indy, 21-7. He couldn't put up anything. That's what's going to happen this year. 20-7. Buffalo over Houston. I have them for under 15 points.
I think their defense isn't quite as strong on the road as people think it's going to be. I think Deshaun is going to do some damage. Will Fuller is back. Hopefully doesn't leave with a hamstring injury within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Tre'Davious is going to do his best with DeAndre Hopkins, but I expect Houston to do really well at home here. But Texans' rush defense hasn't been the same at the end of the year too, so Buffalo's probably going to do quite a bit against them as well. But yeah, I think Houston's going to be kind of like guns out in this one. I think it'll be high scoring for Houston. So I love Deshaun in this one.
It's going to be a fun game.
Matt's on the island though. Let's write these down, Carl. Make sure that let's come back to it.
No,
next
no. I have him above as well.
Oh, I thought you said under 18.5.
I have him 18.8 with low risk, so that means that I'm fairly confident in going above that.
Heard. I'll take the island. I'm gonna say under 20.5. I can't buy into it. I truly think that Buffalo is gonna come out here determined as shit. They're gonna go on the road, understandably, but the home field advantage in Houston doesn't scare me that much. Give me Buffalo on that. I actually like both road teams this week. Give me Tennessee in a crazy ass upset over New England. But let's go do another one real quick. Prize Picks. Shout out to them. They're saying
wait, how many points?
Over what? What do you mean?
20 point what?
5.
20.5, and you had him for under?
Under.
And we had over and over. I like to take a little note so we can follow up.
Get over. What about Ryan Tannehill, 15.8 versus New England?
15.8.
You know what's funny? Tennessee's they've actually been an incredibly hot, big play team since Tannehill took over. People don't even realize it.
Is AJ Brown a top 5 wide receiver right now?
Fantastic.
I think in the last third he was only behind Michael Thomas, for the last stretch.
Yeah. In Dynasty, has he put himself into the top 7 ranking, top 8 ranking now?
Well, the big question with that is Gilmore just got taken to school by Devontae Parker in this last one. I got to assume that was an anomaly and that won't be repeated. So I will think they will probably keep Tannehill in check in this one in Foxborough. I think it'll be a good game, but I would think it's more the Derrick Henry show per usual. So I will go under reluctantly. I mean, you know what? That's the thing. A big play from AJ just turns this on its head, but I'll take the under.
I feel more confident in taking Brady's under 17.7 than I do Tannehill, but I would, if I would have gun to my head, I would follow suit with Matt here. I'm gonna say under 15.8, but it's just 1.5 big plays to AJ Brown that puts him way over that mark, and we've, as much as I feel like okay, once was twice, okay, fool me 3 times. They've gone on 5 straight games. AJ Brown's caught these big ass touchdowns. So, but I'm also gonna say under.
I'm going over because I think even though New England is over the last 3 games and over the course of the season, they are the worst opponent for running back and the second worst for for quarterbacks. I'll still have Tannehill for 20.3, and I think Derrick Henry is going to set up that play action because. Looking at the play action pass, nobody has done it better since Tannehill took over. He's having he's had a higher accuracy rating than Matt Ryan had in his MVP season since he took over, and that's just insane. With that run game set up, he can play action. He doesn't have to do the most difficult passes, and I do think he's going to go over 15.8.
How bad does Marcus Mariota have to feel right now? Dude.
I sat here in week 6 or 5 or whatever it was and berated him and said, it's incredible how bad he was.
He's going to pull a Nick Foles. Tannehill, I don't wish injury on anyone, so I'm not doing that. Well, circumstances, we're going to put Mariota back into this game. He's going to march off into free agency like Nick Foles, although Foles got tagged. But that would be a funny thing.
That would be hilarious.
If he took down them in Foxborough, that would be classic.
That though, I'm telling you, I do got Tennessee winning that game. It's over for New England. It is over until they get actual human beings to play on offense for that team. You got to have someone other than Julian Edelman.
Tannehill,
and I'm sorry, N'Keal Harry coming up, I do like him, but Sanu is not that good. He is not. You need talent on that offense, and you have 0 talent. Tom Brady is old. Give me Tennessee in a huge shocker, and this starts the big off-season debate. A day in and day out, is New England done? Is Brady retiring? This.
Please be true.
I hope so.
I agree with all the reasons why that should be true, and it seems like kind of a trendy thing because it makes sense, but it's It's still in Foxborough, and every year everyone says they're done, and I agree. And you have every reason to believe they're done, and I got to see it. So again, I'll have New England win this one in a close one. And Brady, you know what? People think Brady's done. You know, as much as Tennessee's been getting big plays, you know who's really awful at giving up big plays? The Tennessee defense has been. So Brady's going to burn him a couple of times. Edelman's going to do his thing, and I think they take this one still. Would love to be proven wrong.
Yeah,
if we ever get to our actual topic, Brady could be a real good DFS play this week, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, we're just skipping DFS completely. Let's do just rundown of the picks we had from last week, and then do two more prize picks, Nick. So last week, or week 16 actually, we had week 16 head-to-heads. Darius Slayton was your pick, and I went with Kenyon Drake, and that was a stomp. Adrian Peterson versus Gurley. I picked Gurley, and you had AP. That was a win for me. And then you had, I think you had a really good one here when you had Ryan Tannehill with a high-scoring game, which it definitely was. They scored a buttload of points in week 16, my bad. I don't remember exactly, but it was like 38 something. And then you had Jameis Winston telling me that he was going to be in a low-scoring game, and it was like 20-20 or something, but Tannehill definitely won that one. So we ended the season with me scoring 8 and you scoring 5.
I let you have this one.
Do you have another prize picks for us?
Yes, let's go. Just because it's right in front of my face. Alvin Kamara, 18.5 versus the Minnesota defense.
I'm going under.
4 touchdowns in the last 2 games, right?
Yeah, but I'm still going under on this one. They're pretty much average run defense, but I don't think that touchdown trend is going to keep at it. I think he's going to be about 10.4, maybe a couple of receptions. If we're doing PPR, he's going to... in PPR, he might... what was the number?
I'll go over 18.5.
Yeah, 18.5. Definitely PPR.
Give him
PPR,
60 yards on the ground, 60 yards through the air, a few receptions, and 1 touchdown gets him there pretty easily. I'll go over because I think the game script will be there for him to just pound the ball the second half because I think they're going to just destroy the Vikings.
See, I don't, and I want to think that. I think this game's actually going to be extremely close, and because of that, I think they're going to use Alvin Kamara a lot and a lot out of the backfield for dunk downs. So I'm also going to take the over, but on a different reasoning than you, Matt. I do not think this is going to be a blowout.
And you're making me feel better about the over because Kamara should dominate regardless of the game script.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
And in a PPR situation, I'm going over as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, in a standard scoring, I would not go over.
No.
Yeah, those receptions really give you the safety blanket.
Yeah, because I think he's going to have like 6 or something.
Is PPR? I mean, I know we're talking PPR, but like, does anyone know?
I think you can pick and choose that.
Okay.
But I'm not 100%, which I should know, which is awesome.
Sorry, prize picks. Whoops. Anyways,
we're talking about you for like 20 minutes here, so it's still
you got a whole
good.
show dedicated to you, like spur of the moment. This was not the initial thought here, but anyways, let's move on.
Yeah, let's do another one.
This is pretty fun. I like prize picks. I'm actually probably gonna log in and start doing some prize picks tonight. Let's do Dalvin Cook, 16.2 in the same game, opposite team. Dalvin Cook, 16.2.
Dalvin Cook.
Under. I mean, I think the Saints are going to destroy them. Therefore, game script wise, I have to roll with the same mentality and go under.
I think New Orleans defense is very, very good, especially against the run, and I just don't think Dalvin Cook is going to be. I think it's going to be close. Give me Dalvin Cook getting 16 points, but the thing is 16.2, so I'm going to take the under.
And I actually have him for 16 blank. So in a PPR league, I'm definitely going above.
Awesome. I just don't like in playoff games. You just never know how to like expect with this game. Like,
how about the usage too? With Madison, assuming will be fine. Boone's been okay. I wouldn't think that they would lean on Cook the way we were used to. Also, so it kind of makes me apprehensive. So.
Yeah,
I do disagree with that though. I think they're going to lean on him because, like, look what they've done when he's been out, and it hasn't looked incredible. Like Adam
Oh,
Thielen
no,
looked like he
I
had
agree.
rocks for hands. Uh, just like he had like 8 targets and no reception. No, but I'm exaggerating. But he looked terrible. I'm sorry, but I think they're going to go back to what they did early in the season, what they were successful with, and just keep pounding the rock with Dalvin Cook. And I think he's going to have 100 yards and a touchdown.
All right. Well, you're marking all these down, right, Carl?
I'm marking. Did you have over or under, Nick? My bad.
Oh, I took under.
Under.
Are there any of these where any of you guys where you guys felt like slam dunk? You feel great about the pick, or have they all been pretty close to you?
They're all extremely close.
Tannehill, I felt confident above 15.8.
I think I felt the most confident about Watson over.
I think I'm most confident about Watson under, in my opinion, to be honest.
Well, there you go.
But no, I'm not confident at all. I would not be putting $1,000 down on any of this stuff. This is pretty fun. Let me see a couple of these trends. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna have to play Prize Picks next year to really figure out what's going on with them. But let's go. Smoke Brown against the Houston defense, 12.8.
Oh, I gotta write that. Smoke Brown, 12.8.
Yeah, I'm taking
80, you need like 80 and a touch. 60 and a touchdown will get him there with a PPR.
I'm trying to figure out if it's PPR or what this is, though.
Maybe we should do half point because I feel like these are low for PPR. Because you're right, like all that would be is one reception, 60 yards, and a touchdown. So this has to be. We're gonna do this live. All right, fuck it.
Let's do it live.
Still alive.
All right. It doesn't say.
Yeah, I can't.
Get the owner of Prize Picks on here. I'm gonna talk to him real quick.
I have a I have a.
Well, hold on. Would it make it different if it's not PPR? I would say under. If it's over, if it is PPR, I'd go over. That's how close it would be for me.
I would take the over either way, and I'd be fairly confident in that.
So you're banking on the 80 and a touchdown for Smokey?
80 and a buck. Yep, 80 and a tutty. I'm going a buck and a tutty. Give me 100 and touchdown for Smoke Brown.
I hate rooting against him. I hate rooting against him.
Oh, I know. Smoke Brown's the man, dude. So is Josh Allen, in my opinion. I love the Buffalo team. That's why I can't root for Houston. That's why I can't root for New England. Like, I'm picking Tennessee. I'm picking Buffalo with my heart and my head.
So you're doing over in both standard and PPR.
Yeah, but we got? We should probably just do one of them, though. You know what I mean?
I'll do both.
You crazy son of a bitch.
I'll write up both. So you have over in both. I have him over in PPR and under in standard.
And I'm with him. Same thing.
Same. Fantastic.
Yep. Under standard over PPR.
Yeah. And I'll feel bad because he's top 5 favorite player for me. You found
1 point per reception.
So PPR? Oof.
It's a full PPR.
Yeah, definitely. I feel super confident about the Kamara and Dalvin Cook now.
Maybe we'll put $1,000 down on one of these. All right. Smoke Brown, baby. You and me. We smoking tonight. God damn it.
Just curious. I don't know if you have it readily in front. What do they have a guy like Miles Sanders down for with the uncertainty?
Yep, Miles Sanders. I thought I saw his name, but maybe I didn't.
They only have specific players that you can roll with, and you have to pick from different
20
teams.
Players.
Yeah.
Well, it would definitely make sense not to have him then.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you have to do, Carl? You said you have to pick what?
You have to pick players from different teams. You can't go Josh Allen, Devin Singletary, and Cole Beasley and John Brown, because then you're not playing fantasy. Then you're actually betting on the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
So that's sort of how fantasy works in general. I mean, you can pick, but when you're just picking these, like the amount of players you do on Prize Picks, so you do like 2, 3, or 4 players, you have to do them from different teams. That's just a law here in Georgia. They're an Atlanta-based company, a fantastic company to work with. They're super nice, and we had a get-together a few weeks ago, and they're super friendly and really help you out. And the people who play are really passionate about Prize Picks. I've enjoyed playing it this year. I'm going to try to get into it a little bit more next year as I move more into DFS.
PPR, you lying? I'm just joking. I'm trying to move on though. Like I got my 4 guys selected, and I can't. I must be probably because I'm not logged in. But for anyone who actually is watching this episode of the podcast, you should go check out Prize Picks while you're with.
Did you sign up with the promo code, Nick?
No, I didn't sign up yet. No.
Oh, you have to. Well, let's do that after the show then.
All right.
And you can sign up using the promo code.
I like it.
We got 10 minutes left, so you want to keep doing the Prize Picks over under, or you want to look at?
I don't care. That's pretty fun. I don't know.
What
else do we have?
No, it was looking at some draft recaps from early 2019.
Oh, that's right. We were gonna do that. Yeah. Well, I mean, you run the show.
I think we should stick with this and keep going, and then try to do a draft recap later on when there's no games to talk about.
All right.
I hope that's okay with you, Matt. You know, as a new person on board.
Yeah, he's a new one. He can like whatever the fuck we end up doing.
All right, I'm out of here.
Anthony Davis, 53 points. Wait, are we not doing
one
basketball?
more time?
Anthony Davis, 53 points.
Now we're talking basketball. Speaking of other sports, take off the hat, Matt. Take off the hat.
Oh,
Freaking
we got
Mets.
five. What are you, Carl? Oh, you're brave.
Whoa.
Dallas and Atlanta. Where are you from? Where's that? Where'd you get that?
I am from Sweden, actually. So,
okay.
Atlanta Braves were on TV back home when I started watching baseball, like 2008, which is super weird. So then I moved to Atlanta by coincidence. So that kind of worked out. But Cowboys were on TV, and the movie The Little Giants, they were the cool kids. So I went with them.
Awesome. You went with the villainous children.
Yeah, I was like a serious kid growing up with sports. So I'm like, oh, these are the serious one who really want to be great. So I went with them instead of like the
guys who threw toilet paper into the car.
That wasn't serious enough for me. I needed like structure.
Is it little
trick plays are for losers.
Little Giants.
In Puerto Rico was an illegal play.
Fumblerooski. We got Wesley joining in the chat as well. What's up, Wesley? How's it going? He says, keep it up, fellas. You guys are awesome. Big things for y'all in 2020. Thank you so much, Wesley. Glad to have you on board here for the chat. We're going to keep doing Prize Picks, Wesley. But if you have anything you want to add into the show, just let us know. We'll hear for you as always. Do you have another Prize Picks for us, Nick?
I do. Let's go. Dawson Knox, 5.2.
Whoa. This is PPR then.
This is yes, fantasy ruling. 1 point for every 25 yards, 4 points for a touchdown passing, 1 point every 10 yards rushing, 6 points rushing touchdowns, 1 point every 10 yards receiving. So it's not like, one point per yard. It's 1 point every yard. 6 points receiving touchdowns, 1 point reception, -1 for an interception, -1 for a fumble loss, 2 points for a 2-point conversion, and so on and so forth. Everything else is the same.
Fantastic. I have Dawson Knox for 3.1 in standard with 2 receptions, bringing it up to 5.1, which is 0.1 points below the 5.2. I'm going under on that.
Let me make my pick real quick. Here.
We got a coin. For people just listening,
looks like we're going over. Dawson's gonna find the end zone in this one.
Over for Matt. For people just listening to this show in afterwards, that was Matt flipping a coin, which is not conducive to what he usually does when he gives you fantasy advice.
How about this? I wouldn't bet on Dawson Knox one way or the other. That's my advice to all of you.
There's
no actionable data for you to make this bet with any degree of certainty.
Wait, what did the coin tell you though?
The coin just told me heads, which was going to be over.
So if the coin wins, this has to be a recurring thing throughout.
Find the most random one.
Don't mess with the coin. Just two-face, keep going.
I'm following suit with the coin though, man. The coin knows.
The coin of destiny is not to be messed with. Every year, I move all the number 1 seeds out in the NCAA tournament, and then flip a coin for the rest of the games for one bracket, and it does pretty good.
That does pretty good.
Coin of destiny.
Coin of
800
destiny.
different brackets for the fucking tournament. Oh, that's coming up soon. Pitchers catchers report soon. We got a lot of stuff happening.
Yes, pitches.
Dawson Knox, by the way, I'm taking over 5.2.
Over.
Give me a touchdown.
Y'all
Yeah,
are-
it's leeching off the coin.
Releasing off the coin, baby. Quick, man, ask the coin for this one too.
I just want to just chime in with one quick thing about the Houston defense. They've actually, over the last 3 games and over the course of the season, they are the best opponent for a tight end to play right now, giving up an average of 12.4 points on average to the position.
Really? They're like worse than Arizona at this point?
Yes, sir. If you account for, I adjust for the last 3 games to get a trend and not just over the course of the season, because then you can adjust the data a little bit more. So Houston are actually terrible against the tight end position right now. So y'all might be right on this one.
Yeah, I like the coin. When in doubt, trust the coin, baby. All right, let's get to another one. Sony Michel, 12.0 versus Tennessee. I'm taking the over.
Sony Michel.
12?
I'm
You said
taking the
12?
under. Sorry, I'm taking the under. I'm taking the
Is it
under.
12 even?
12 even. I want under.
12.
Yeah.
Under for Nick. I'm going under as well. I have him for 7.5 with 1 reception, so 8.5. 40% risk, only a ceiling of 14.1. Tennessee's run defense is below average, but I don't trust running backs for that team in general.
Yeah, I mean, they use Burkhead and White too much. I mean, I'd give him like 60 yards and a catch, and even if he reaches the end zone, he still doesn't get to 12. I'll go under.
Yeah, I think that's one I would bet on compared to Dawson Knox.
Yep, agreed. Move on to the next one.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
This is fantastic, though. This is awesome.
The rabbit hole led us to this whole episode. We literally didn't do anything that we had scheduled. Just started with Jay Gruden and ended with Dawson Knox, and I fucking love it.
When I came in the room earlier, I thought that we were live and we were talking Star Wars. So that's what
Dude, I'm ready to talk Star Wars too. Let's talk Mandalorian. Let's talk.
Baby Yoda
But anyways,
for
let's
life.
keep it football right now. Carlos Hyde, 11 points versus Buffalo.
Hyde, 11 points. Is he fully healthy? I saw something that he wasn't. That he was feeling something, or did they just sit him in week 17 to let him rest?
Yeah, I think it was just a more of a rest thing. I think he should be good for this week.
Okay, cool.
Which, by the
11
way,
points?
everyone's like resting like on Houston. Everyone rested on Buffalo. Why did everyone rest on Buffalo except for Josh Allen? Like, what were they trying to do there?
What do you mean?
Everyone rested on Buffalo except
Right.
for Josh Allen.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
why would they just
They gotta
sit him?
keep him hot. You know what I mean?
I guess.
I guess.
Keep
That
him in
does
the
not
game.
make any sense. It's like everyone else. We absolutely need you for the first round of the playoffs. But Josh, well, just go out there week 17 and see what you can do. You know, if you don't make it, you don't make it. We have Peterman out there still, so.
Booby Miles one more time.
I tell you, you know, we've talked about that how many times? Countless amount of times this year. Like,
I will
don't
take the
play-
over for Hyde, by the way. I'll take the over.
I'm
I think he
also-
gets easily 20 carries in this one, in a game where I think Houston will be up. So I just think pure volume, he'll get there. He'll maybe find the end zone. So I like it. So I'll take the over.
Over. I have him actually exactly for 12 in 11 in a PPR league. 50% risk ish, ceiling of 13.6. Good boom chance though, so I'm going over with you as well. Below average run defense, 19th rank in the league right now, which it's not a huge projection with 11 in a PPR league, so I'm with you on that with over.
I also am taking the over. I think this game is actually going to be way low scoring and is not going to see a lot of points. Because of that, I think we're going to see a lot more running via both teams, and I think that's just going to be beneficial for Carlos Hyde.
I do think Buffalo's going to run the ball better than Houston, though.
Oh, for sure.
I agree.
But,
I just like Hyde because he's going to be given the ball so many times, but I don't
Right.
necessarily think he's going to be quality with all
Right.
of it. But
You're going to get a solid 3.5 yards per carry from him, but if he gets 20 carries, then that'll get you enough. So yeah, did we all just take the over on him?
yeah, which is terrible.
So that might be that might be the safest bet though. It seems like out of all of us, that one and Dawson Knox are the two top ones.
And we have Kamara over.
Oh, and Kamara, another one.
Yep.
I'm trying to build my four
Coin
guys.
also takes the over, so
Oh, perfect.
4
Coin.
for 4.
The coin took the well. Then, hot damn, boys! There's
Two-
another $1,000.
$200 on it instantly.
All right, Carson Wentz versus Seattle. Game we haven't talked about much. 18 points, Carson.
18. Dwayne Brown hurt. Quandre Diggs hurt. Michael Kendricks out for the season. I'll go over.
18 points over for Matt. Yeah.
Especially with Sanders being somewhat banged up. They'll have no... I mean, he might not have a choice but to throw. You know? We were talking about Carlos Hyde getting 20 touches. Let's talk about Carson Wentz getting 50 passes here.
Not going to turn around and give it to Boston Scott 100 times, 30 times this game. Like, he's not built for that, so you're 100% true on that. I'm also going to take the over just because Matt convinced me.
Yeah, and just because it makes the show more interesting, I'm going to go under. Because at 18 points, I have him for 18.4 with 60% risk. 60% risk is quite high for a quarterback. I've done research that says if they're above 59, that usually means that they are not going to reach the projection, which is interesting. So he's just touching that line. So I'm going to go under just to disagree with y'all. Well, also because my numbers tell me to disagree.
Follow the numbers.
Follow the numbers always. It tends to not lead me astray.
I mean, you have your system, I have my system. We all have a system.
Yeah. Numbers, coin, and what do you want to call your system, Nick? Detroit Madness?
Detroit fucking madness. Yes, sir.
Kenny
That's right.
freaking Powers.
That's right. Kenny freaking Powers. I like it. Watch out. That was
Now we're having stuff. Let's do one more player before we sign off.
All right, let's flip the script. No, that's way too easy. Do we all take the over on Russell Wilson at 19? I'd take the over. I guess I shouldn't just assume everyone. But that'll do it. Russell Wilson, 19 points.
No, I have him for 6. Well, no, yeah, I'll go over.
Yeah, I got him over.
16.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think just like y'all said with the running back situation on Philadelphia, I feel like it's the same for Seattle. I do
They're
like
not
Homer.
giving the ball to Marshawn Lynch 30 times. I can promise you that.
Yeah,
Well, definitely not. Also not against Philly.
Who can't stop freaking you put.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go over. I mean, you only got to beat him deep once, and it's gonna happen. DK is probably gonna take him to the house at least one time, so I'll take the over.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
just think like the running game is going to be less and less of a thing. I think they're going to instead of Marshawn Lynch, I think they're gonna lean on short throws to like Travis Homer, who looked fantastic against San Francisco, and then just dink and dunk, and a couple of deep
Hollister,
shots.
Lockett.
Yeah.
All right, one more. Derrick Henry, 15.9 versus one of the best rush. No, never mind. They have a great pass defense. Regardless, New England, 15.9. Derrick Henry.
Oh, they do have a great rush defense too.
I thought they did. They're
the best in the league right now.
If you're gonna stop, I think pass catching running backs do okay against them, but that not on the ground.
How many points?
You say 15, Nick?
15.9. Sorry, yeah. I was thinking actually when you guys said that. 15
13.9. I only have him for one reception. I'm gonna go under on this one. I don't feel safe with a 15.9. I think he might get 15, but then a whole like the lack of receptions is concerning for me in a PPR situation here. Compared to somebody like Kamara, who I expect to get like 6 receptions, versus Henry, who's more of a ground and pound against a great run defense. And if New England wants to win this game, I think they're going to have to stop the run, because that's going to stop the play action pass. So it all comes back to stopping Derrick Henry. And who knows that more than anybody? Bill freaking Belichick.
I think 15.9 is a heck of a line. I think that's a perfect line for him.
I agree.
I like
the under. I'm going under.
The under.
I'm going under.
And we're like 80 yards, 30 through the air.
I want the over. Tennessee's going to win this game. It's going to be on the back of Derrick Henry. Give me the over.
That's his wishful thinking.
I'm going to take the under. I think it's going to be razor thin. I'll take the under.
Yeah, if you would have said 14.9, then I might meet with it. But 15.9, ugh.
Detroit fucking madness. Give me the over. I'll show you guys.
We got another person joining. We got Mellow Fan joining. He's apologizing for not being here. He was at a Portland game. I hope it was a good one. We're just about to sign off, Mellow. But you can always catch us on demand after the show is uploaded. It's going to be about 2 hours or so before it gets processed here on YouTube, so you can catch it. Don't worry about that. But I wanted to say thank you to both y'all for coming on here. And Matt, welcome to the show.
Yeah, hey, thank you for having me.
It's going
to be a fun one.
It's been a rabbit hole if there's ever been one.
I feel like with the offseason coming up, we're going to have many shows like this. So if you just like football and or just conversing, come, listen in and feel free to jump into our random-ass rabbit hole conversations. You know what I mean? Carl, you always do a great job pointing out everyone who's talking. So that's awesome.
Thanks, man.
Incidentally, the coin did take the under for Derrick Henry.
The coin okay, then I feel much more confident.
Are you marking down the coin, Carl? That's what we should have done.
No, I did not do that, but I assumed Matt was just playing by the coin, so I did mark that off.
So you did take down what the coin said because it's just whatever Matt said.
Yeah, pretty much. Like the coin said over PPR, under in standard for Smokey Brown, 12.8. I assumed.
Right. The coin and Matt are one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I feel, and I'm gonna assume that moving forward as well. Anything he
it's
tweets,
magic. It's like the Force or like the Sorting Hat from Harry Potter. This thing knows all.
This is the way.
This is the way.
And with that, I have spoken. So signing off for the Fantasy Rabbit Hole is Nick Faber, Matt Williams, and CSD Fantasy, and we'll see y'all next time.
Peace.
Yeah, everybody.